Yes. How's it going, everybody? It's your boy Rich on How Men Become Men podcast. I might rename that. I don't know. Rich season something. We'll think of something. But uh, but yeah, we're just chatting real quick. Uh, I do this podcast because I really want to help inspire and motivate men to become a higher level of themselves, to really chase the upper echelons of yourself. Because at a certain time, I was I was definitely not I was not that guy until one day I decided to get my life in order and become that man. Excuse me. Fresh spring water. Yeah, so I just decided to become that man, you know. And what really sorry, I don't understand why this thing okay. I remember why. There we go. What really inspired me to really change my life. I'm gonna give you guys a backstory. Here we go. The famous Rich season backstory, right? And I'm gonna start way back in the beginning. So I'm trying to think because I feel like it wasn't 2018. I feel like it was before 2018. No, but it was definitely 2018. I graduated high school in 2016, right? And I thought I became a man when I graduated, when I turned 18. I thought I was a man. 2018. But was I utterly and severely wrong? I was not a man, you see. I was still a boy mentally. Physically, I was still a boy because I had no muscles. I had no muscles all my life. I had track muscles, a little running from high school, but I had no chest. I was always bird chested. Uh yeah, it was I was a boy. I wasn't a little boy, but I was a boy. And that was actually 2015, right? When I turned 18 and I graduated in 2016 to let you guys know. I wasn't held back. I just started school late because I came from Cali and in Missouri, something about August birthdays, some bullshit like that. I don't know. Well, that's the fucking past. So here I am working the job. I have a girl. I had a girlfriend at the time. So I'm in vagina like every other day. So I think I'm a fucking man, making money. Even though I'm still living with my parents, I had no idea. Unfortunately, my dad didn't teach how to become a man. How you would Fortunately, he didn't teach it how I would accept learning it. I feel like everybody has their own way of learning how to become a man. You know, some people need harsher ways. Some people need more subtle ways. Some people needed breadcrumb to them. Yeah, things of that nature. So 2018, right? No, 2017. I'm working this job, and I leave the car wash. So I do all this stuff for my ex because I'm in love, pussy. So I do all this stuff for her, you know, and this is really how I became a man. Women, right? So I do all these things. I'm taking her out on wherever she wants to go to eat. I didn't really spend money on her. I'm not gonna lie. I was a shitty boyfriend. Very shitty. I did the things like if she wanted the fast food because she wasn't a real healthy girl. She was very uh she ain't really she just liked this she just wanted to smoke weed. She was always in pain. She had like a ligament problem. Issue with her joints. They were causing her severe pain. And yeah, at the time she just wanted to smoke weed a lot, and I ain't smoke like that. I probably smoked a couple times with her. I wasn't a big advocate on that because I used to be an athlete, right? And I never wanted to lose those lungs. Yeah. So I'm taking her on dates. I'm buying her flowers, lovey dovey, all blah blah blah. Here comes February 14th, right? Valentine's Day. I take her on a date, go see a movie. I'm thinking we had a good time. Little did I know that she's been talking to one of her coworkers. And at the time, I knew who he was because I used to work. Before I left the job, we used to work at the same job, car wash, right? And he came before I left. I left, got in a big argument with the bosses over my ex because I felt like they were overworking her, some bullshit. I don't know. So I just quit that job. I was always spontaneous, sporadic like that, not spontaneous. I was always sporadic. You know what I'm saying? Being a kid, and so I quit the job. I threw the shirt down on the desk and just walked out. I felt like the biggest man that day, but I was the biggest fucking kid. Not realizing I was doing all this bullshit for some vagina. So here comes February 14th. I take her on this sweet Valentine's date, right? We dress up, look real nice, real flashy. She has a dress on. I picked out for her. All this shit. Then about a month later, I'm chilling with my friends making music because usually I used to spend time with her like every fucking waking day. She would just be upset and depressed if I wasn't spending the day with her. Some fucking bullshit, and I bought into that. So this day I was like, bro, I need to further my rap career. At the time, I used to make music, so I wanted to do that with my friends, and I get a call from her saying that she wants to break up. Turns out she was kicking it with this guy from her job who was selling her weed. And girls are very, very, not polygamous. What's the word? They monkey branch or things of that nature. And I guess he had more money than me because he was selling weed and he was bigger than me. I was a skinny dude at the time, and I really wanted to contribute to the fact that he was giving her free weed. That's really why she was fucking him. I'm pretty sure she was fucking him. I never caught her in the act. She was very good at hiding shit. I'm pretty sure, but God bless her soul. Hopefully she's doing well now and she's got off all that shit, and she's just feeling like a more wholesome, better. I know she has a kid. I'm pretty sure she has a kid, but I talked to her once after all that incident, and I'll tell you about that later. But yeah, so in that day, I'm just filled with I don't know what. I wasn't even sad. I didn't even cry. I don't think I cried at all. That's how I knew I didn't love her, and I just didn't know what I felt for her because I was just angry. I was more angry at the fact that I was just betrayed. Like I was angry at the fact that she just couldn't tell me to my face. That's what I was angry. She couldn't walk up to me and come talk to me and let me know, right? So my friends calmed me down because I was gonna go over there and fight, dude. I probably would have got my ass beat, but I ain't give a fuck. So yeah, good thing they talked me out of that shit. I go get a new job. Well, I already had a new job, and I was talking to like a week or two later. I started talking to this other chick. She was so bad at the time, and my ex we still following each other. So she was looking at my page because I changed my profile picture to me and her, And she was like, "Oh, so you move on this fast and shit like that, bitch? You got a whole nother nigga over here. What the fuck? Hell yeah, move on. Like, what the fuck? Think I'm just gonna be over here heartbreaking shit? Like, hell no, nigga. I'm rich motherfucking season. Like, before I was even, that was probably the most rich move that I did back then. Before I was even rich, I was, what was I, Artisan Wall or some shit like that, man. I don't know, some bullshit, but yeah. So I ended up dating this chick for about a month, and then we weren't really official. We kissed, and that's about it. I probably could have smashed one night, but only other chick I ever fucked with was my ex, so I ain't really had no game. I fucked up, bought her flowers and all this shit, and I just wasn't realizing, like, why wasn't this shit working? Why wasn't she falling for me? And she ended up hitting her ex back up, um, and shit of that nature. So let me go. We were still cool, on Facebook and things of that nature. But that I ended up looking into, like, why do women act this way, this and that, and it led me to this whole, I guess y'all would call, red pill these days, all this red pill shit, and I was following that for a very long time, actually. I give it, what was that, 2017? I give it about 3-4 years maybe. Probably wasn't until like 2021, where I really stopped listening to like red pill shit. And I'll listen, but I stopped like taking their advice type shit, right? Um so I'm over here going through it, right? Living in my parents' basement, uh just trying to find a way out with this music thing, a way out with everything, just get out of their basement. And I was just listening to like pickup artists, because I was like, oh, they know how to talk to women, and they talk to women, which is crazy, because I knew how to talk to women. It was just the breakup broke my confidence so bad, and that's what happened. It'll make you forget your whole identity. So we broke up, and my identity was shattered. I didn't know who I was, and I was searching. Um, Mind you, this is the girl I quit track for. I quit running in high school because she wanted to spend more time. Show you how stupid I was. Yeah. So we get on. I get on. And I get a whole. I get a whole nother job, right? I get a whole nother job. Because the other job fired me because I was that depressed. I was showing up late every day, and things of that nature. So I get a whole nother job working at a movie theater. My favorite fucking job of all time, like, hands down. If there's somebody I work for, it'd be those people. Unfortunately, they don't run the business anymore. AMC took over, but at the time, 2017, this was my favorite thing to do. I was ushering, cleaning movie theaters, and running trays to people in the movie theaters. They would tip, I would make money. I loved it. Always on my feet. This is what I loved. But I'm not gonna lie. That job helped me get out of my shell, and it forced me to talk to people and give them little, because in this time I was just processing, okay, how can I talk to people? And I've never really thought about this, because I've told this story many of times to many people, but I've never really thought about, okay, this job really did bring me out of my shell to, like, say, talk to strangers, talk to new people, right? And man, it really did that for me. And then my friend introduced me to somebody named Patrice O'Neal, rest in peace. So I don't know him personally, but I watched his videos. He taught me some game on. He taught me how women's mind operated, right? And at the time, this is what I was obsessed with women, right? I didn't realize it was a me problem. I thought it was a problem of, oh, I just know how to talk to women, but really it's internally, how do you deal with yourself? So I go out and do the things that Patrice talks about. I go out and study, right? I study this because before I even try to like do anything, before I even like make a move, I study, I assess the situation. So I was assessing these women and how they acted, and then, I was like, oh, this nigga spot on with this shit. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I uh I was like, okay, damn, this is definitely some game he put me on. And the same friend invited me to their college, right, to come kick it. So I was always working a whole nother job. This is actually 2018 now, right? Because I worked here for a year. This job is I worked for the government. I wasn't on the government, but I was working subcontracting, and it was boring. I hated it. Desk job, hated it for life. So when he invited me to that college, man, I took it and ran, bro. A night that changed my life. That really showed me how women operated on an instinctual level. So it's around my birthday, right? Like a week after. And there's this party, college party. Baseball kids are throwing up north. And my friends invite me out, right? I'm like, all right, yeah. When I get off work. And I want to say I took it off early. I'm pretty sure I took the day off early. Like I told him, like, hey, I'm going to take this day off early, and I took it off early. I went up there because I like back then I was always coming in on time because I wanted the hour, wanted the money. I've always been a hard worker, but then like when I slack, when I hate something, I hate it, and I just kill that. I kill it so bad. So yeah, I was a hard worker. I was there early, and so when I asked for the days off instead of just leaving. I go up to this party, right? Bunch of white kids. The people who ran the baseball team, not my friends. My friends were black. My friends were black. They had homies that were black, and it was a mixed crowd. But the majority were white kids. And the women were mixed. There was a lot of Latinos there, and I was just having the time of my life, man. I met this one chick. She was a goer. We talked a little. I greeted her, and then one time she was messing with the music, and I took it. Like she had a phone, right, and it was plugged into the music. It wasn't. I don't think it was her phone, but it was plugged into like a small speaker. It was speaker wasn't even huge. It didn't even. It wasn't loud. It wasn't loud as fuck. It wasn't shit. So I took it from her because she's over here playing Nicki Minaj. Like nobody wants to listen to no Nicki Minaj at a college party in 2018. What the fuck? Not Nicki, nigga. Maybe 2013. 2012. Not 2018, nigga. What the fuck? So, I tell her like, hey, we ain't listening to this shit. Change it. And she said something. She was like, I should slap you. And I just give her this face. Like, bitch, slap me then. Like, I tell her that, slap me then. See what happened. And she did a little, she knew, this is how she knew. And I knew because of this, she was on game, and this is crazy, right? Because all this happened in slow motion. This is how I recall it so well. She slapped me, but it was like a tap, like she was testing me. So I was like, bitch, don't nobody slap me. I ain't say that, but I grabbed her by the arm, pulled her outside, right? And I looked her deep in her eyes. And I said, bitch, don't you ever slap me again. You know what the fuck gonna happen to you. And she just stared at my eyes, like, didn't say nothing for like a whole 30 seconds. So I'm just looking at the bitch like, the fuck you looking at? Like, you too goddamn cute to be looking at me like that. And at that point, it was over with. I ain't gonna cap. It was over with at that point. Cause then she was, I don't forget what happened. I forget exactly what we said, but we was kissing, and then I took her to the around back, and she started feeling on my dick. And after she was feeling on my dick, I was like, hey, I'm ready to go. At this, you know what I'm saying? Stressing out, work, all this bullshit, man. I'm ready to fuck on something. So dude came around because we still had the phone, somebody else's phone. So he was like, yeah, we gotta change the music. So he seen us, so I handed him the phone. Then he went back inside. And so I was like, damn, they gonna see us if we do something right here. So I take her around the shed. It's a small little, shed behind the house. And she get on top of me and start riding me. You know what I'm saying? And like, not even like 8 strokes in, I see some feet hanging like under the shed. The shed is kind of like elevated to like cement, and it's like the shed and the grass like right there. You know what I'm saying? So I can see like these feet. I'm like, oh, those Christians' feet. Those my homie's feet. Then I see his head pop up. I'm like, God dang, man, what? I can't even get none. You know what I'm saying? So, but anyways, I just tell that story. I'll finish it off. I'll finish it off because it was amazing. I ain't gonna cap. At the time. Nowadays, I don't do nothing like this, but we get caught. A bunch of people say, hey, you know what I'm saying? What the fuck y'all got going on? So we get up. I put my pants on and shit. She walked and she kind of like holding her head like she not like sad or nothing, but she just kind of like, oh, shame, you know what I'm saying? With a little smirk. Like she knew what the fuck she was doing. But I like everybody started that. I seen their reaction. Everybody started dapping me up. Like everybody. I don't even like know these niggas, bro. They started dapping me up, and I was like, bro, this is what it feel like to be in one of them American Pie movies, bro. I was like, what the fuck is this shit, bro? Hey, that shit was legendary. You know, I don't do that shit no more. Like, no, I'm gonna take it to the crib if I ever. Really, I'm not really searching for that, honestly. But if I had to go back in that situation, I would take it to the crib or some shit. It was never worth it. But at the time, it seemed like it was worth it because I was like, oh, everybody fuck anywhere. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's America. But, yeah. So that just gave me like a mindset, like a peek into the female mindset of, oh, hoes be on go just like niggas be on go. You know what I'm saying? So, and the next day, actually that night, I found out she had a nigga. She had a dude who was out of town. And so I was like, damn, this is probably like what my ex was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like, damn, this is probably what that chick I was fucking with doing. Like they fucking on another nigga. While I'm over here thinking, you know what I'm saying? And so I just had a very low trust for women after that. And I became that type of guy who was just fucking on bitches who had not like they didn't tell me they had niggas, and I was like, well, we still gonna like for some reason that's just not attract. Like you tell me you got a nigga, and it's probably because of that day. I really just it just kills the attraction for me. If you tell me you have a nigga and you still trying to fuck with me, it just kills the attraction. So, if I ever fucked a nigga's bitch, it was unintentional. I never intended to sleep with any man's woman. That's not something I do. That's not something that I ever wanted to do. So, yeah, I just want to make that clear. Me as a human, that's not cool. I done heard stories about niggas getting shot, head blown off because they got caught sleeping with somebody's wife. And I would never want that for mine. God forbid. So, yeah, it just gave me that insight, though. So I took that with me, right? I took that with me. And I realized, okay, it's less about showing who you are. Like all of this made me realize what selling is, right? And a lot of people think when you sell yourself, right, that you gotta sell yourself. Well, that's entirely wrong. And we're gonna get into that in a minute, but I'm gonna tell you how I led up to this mindset. So that's 2018. Then I go back to the grind, working at the job, and I quit because I hate it, and I go live with my friends up in college, and we just kicking it, vibing it, and it just relinquishes me of responsibility for a little bit because in my mind I'm still a kid, and I just needed to experience how to obtain this lifestyle again, right, without my parents being there. And so after the college phase, right, and hanging out with guys. Before I wasn't hanging out with anybody. Now I was actually hanging out with guys, like my homies, like niggas I had like knew from the sandbox, because everybody I knew went to college. So we get out, and I'm like, oh, I need to get this lifestyle back. Like, we was in a nice jacuzzi every night. Like, it was a nice place, bruh. Like, the reason they were able to afford that apartment that we stayed in was because the college paid for it, because their GPAs were so damn high. They had 4.0s. They graduated with 4.0s. Those are my friends. Shout out to them. So now I'm out of college thinking about, oh, I need to get on this grind. So I started a lawnmower business. You know what I'm saying? I always wanted to start a business, and I tried it before. I never got any customers until I started this lawnmower business. Right? And when I started this lawnmower business, I started going door to door, and I started getting customers. Right? I had a little lawnmower, shoved it in my Kia, a little push mower, and I did a grind. I was out there sweating every day. Like, even the days where I had no body, I was outside. Door to door, just passing my flyers out, talking to people, getting rejected. And that taught me how to be resilient. Like, that taught me to stop being scared and be resilient. Like, you know what I'm saying? Which is a character trait of a man. So add that to with not selling yourself, right? But at the time, I didn't realize in full effect. So I wasn't selling myself on this aspect with these women, but over here with business, I was still selling myself. Right? I can cut this grass for you, and it's only gonna take me 30 minutes, and it's only 25, and this and that. And that's how I'm selling myself. But I didn't realize until much later. Right? And so I'm gonna catch up to that. Secret is later on in the video. So 2018, or no, this is 2019 now. They graduated. I cut grass. It kind of goes downhill because I hire my friend, another friend. He wasn't really on the same timing, and he is a type, I'll say this, to get money and to be cool off that. So it wasn't like to build or to invest, right? So he's still a good guy, nonetheless. It was just his mindset. So the mindsets didn't mesh with my business mind, and I made a business mistake of paying him half. And so when I went back and told him, hey, I need to pay you less because I'm providing all the materials and the gas, and I'm driving everywhere. And he's like, nah, I ain't doing that. So I was like, all right, I'll just do this by myself because I need to get this business off the ground. And so when that fails, right, because now I got to do the work again and it's going to take a longer time. It's not taking a short time. I get demotivated. So I go get another job. I start working for the Chiefs, the stadium. Love that job. Second favorite job of all time. The reason why I loved it, I had the social skills. Like, I was talking to people more outgoing. But it was more just what it taught me. What I say working at the Chiefs Stadium taught me. That's a good question for me. It taught me how to be very, because it was an all day job, but it was like once a week, right? So it taught me how to manage myself, right? Well, it gave me the time. I'd say. It gave me the time to teach me how to manage myself at the time. And when I say that, it wasn't like managing like organization. It was just managing my thoughts, right? How I really thought about everything that I was learning. And what I mean by that, right? So it's like everything you learn, right? Like take it as a class and it's an assessment test. There you go. Perfect example. It's not the main test, but it's an assessment test just to see, okay, this is where you at in the middle of the year, and by the end of the year, this is where we want you to be because you're doing this well on this assessment because of the things that you've learned. So I take it as that. It was a very fun job. I got to ride around the go-kart and eat and drink, and when I'm supposed to be, securing the parking lot. But, we riding around. And, you get a partner. We just chatting it up. You know what I'm saying? If it's a bitch, you know what I'm saying? You talking that game. If it's a nigga, you know what I'm saying? Y'all just kicking it. So, most of the time we was just kicking it. But I did have a couple of girls, you know what I'm saying? Never pulled nobody from that. Like, I wasn't really on that time back then. I just was really, I don't know what I was really doing at that time. Honestly, if I look back, I think I was on more music. I'm pretty sure I was doing a lot of music back then. Trying to get my sound, finding my sound. Then at this point, because I had already moved back in with my parents, 2019, and then that job ends 2020. I'm door dashing, right? Or Postmating. I was doing a little Postmates. That's what I was. That's what it was. My main job 2019 was Postmates, and so 2020 it was Postmates, but I still wasn't making a lot because I still was that guy that helped my friend to make sure, because he didn't have a car. So we were doing it together, and I was splitting everything with him. And 2020 comes, I wreck my car. I know because the Chiefs won like a week or two after I wrecked my shit. And then I go in a state of it wasn't really depression, because I don't believe in depression as a state, but it was a feeling. Definitely, I felt depressed. I felt depressed for like a month, right? I had car insurance, and so when they said my car was totaled, they were trying to hold it back for like 2 months, and I didn't do shit but stay in my room. Remember, I wasn't working out. I never did that shit back then, 2020. But I'm like, bro, I know I have this mental grind. Like, I have this grind in me, but I don't have a car. And so I'm depressed, living with my parents. Excuse me. God bless their soul. They never, at the time, I feel like they felt for what I was going through, so they never, because before that I used to get arguments about them about like how I was living. But at this time, they weren't on me. So I'm very thankful about that. Very, very thankful. And at this time, I was finding my grind phase. I think I was 22, 21, 22, pushing 23. I think I was 22. And yeah, I was definitely 22 in 2020. So I started grinding, or no, excuse me. I get the check finally after 2 months of waiting. And that last month, because I knew it was coming, like the last 2 weeks, I was like, bro, what am I going to do with this money? What am I going to do with $3,000? Right? Right today, it doesn't sound like a lot, but at the time, it was life-changing. So I went and found a truck for 15, right? I think I spent about 20, and I got a lawnmower for like $50. Put a new battery in it for like 40. So I had like 900 left. I still had money left. I was amazed at myself. Like, I was doing really good. And I started grinding. I started making money cutting grass. But then I started DoorDash because like I can't, I don't have the business to just sustain cutting grass by itself. So DoorDashing, I was making like $200 a day from like 4 hours of DoorDash. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was like, okay, what if I do this all day? So I decided to take a day and do it all day. Like I'm talking about like 8 in the morning to like 2 the next morning, and I ended up making about $500, and that really changed my mindset of okay, if I want to do this, I'm gonna have to really dig in and do it like all the time. So I was doing it, and of course picked up bad habits like smoking to keep my stress levels down, and I was drinking and shit. I wasn't drinking on the job. I smoke on the, I'd smoke uh, a black and mild, but I wasn't drinking. I wasn't drinking on the job, and I wasn't smoking weed like that. I don't. I think before that I was smoking a lot, but after like 2017 to 2019 I was smoking a lot. But after 2020, it just was like a waste of money, you know. uh, so I went on this stint for like a month or two of DoorDash, and I made about like $9,000. Um, of course, a third of that went to gas, and I saved about almost 5 grand. Moved out my parents, bro. It like totally changed my life. And then I got hit again. It slowed down. Nothing great lasts forever. So it slowed down, and I had my second apartment in the little studio. I wanted to keep it cheap, but I wasn't making any money. So I applied for unemployment. The last job I had, the working at the government, really they paid me. I put a lot into that, so I got like $10,000 from that. And because of that, I did a stupid thing because I was still a kid mindset, right? And because of that, I ended up buying a 2010 335i BMW. Man, she was beautiful. Drop top peanut butter coupes. Yeah, she was sweet, sweet. And I bought this car thinking, oh, you know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be that guy. And that's when the trouble starts, right? I start going downhill again. I can't afford this car, man. Gave me a lot of troubles. I was breaking down a lot. Let's just keep it short. It was breaking down a lot. So I and I'm over here smashing bitches in my crib, but I still feel terrible. I'm like, why do I still feel this way? And I'm starting to not be able to pay rent. Actually, I don't think I've ever paid them. I paid them 1 month, and then after that, no, I paid them twice. I paid them 2 months because when I got the car, I still had money enough to pay rent for that. Yeah, I paid them twice, but for that next year, I stopped paying them. And thank God COVID came around because it really absolved a lot of that. Still hit my credit, but all the other shit it was absolved. But during that time, that's when I really found myself, right? Really found myself as a man because that grind that I applied to working for myself, I looked in the mirror, was like, bro, something's got to change. I gotta have a discipline that I can get to easily and just grind it out. And that's what working out was. I found a gym like 8, 10 blocks down the street. It was like a if I walked there, it's a 30-minute walk there and a 30-minute walk back. I walked there once, but I realized there was a bus route that just take me straight down there. But I had a car, right? Um, so I was really just driving down there, and I loved it because it was $10 a month. It was Planet Fitness, and it really honed my discipline, right? And so I did that. When I started that in October of 2021, no, excuse me, October of 2020, that really changed my life, right? It gave me purpose, and I got a job right? I got a job working in a factory. I love that job too. It's my third favorite job. I was fixing machines, and I was working with an African and a Chinese. It's crazy, and they ain't speaking English, so I literally had to learn on my feet. You know, like they were showing me things. Oh, this is how you fix this machine. You know, paper plate factory, fixing machines, and I just really those things were just honing skills in me to okay, you can do more than just listen. Pay attention with your eyes. I would say that's what really honed I knew how to pay attention with my eyes, like I knew, but there's difference. It's like knowing how to lift properly and then actually lifting properly because of muscle memory. And that really practiced that, okay, pay attention with your eyes for me. And it was just so amazing. Amazing experience, man. It's because it was hard. It was something hard and difficult that I overcame, right? And if you go watch my last YouTube video, that's what it was all about. That's how men become men. It's overcoming the difficult tasks. And it's the greatest feeling in the world. Better than fucking sliding in some wet vagina. Better than that. So, yeah. I work out, and I've been working out ever since. Still, still rocky. Ain't nothing perfect. So that job goes by. I get, uh, a promotion. That's what it's called. And the promotion comes with a raise. But I was working under a different company for them. So when they was finally ready to switch me, they wanted to lower my pay. I was like, hell no. And I quit. Still wasn't paying my bills though. But I was working out every day. Like I was on that. Because my plan at the time was to save money to go do this but shit. But that car that I had during the winter, it broke down again. And I had to get it fixed. And it was expensive. So that's what took that hit, and I wasn't able to make those payments. If I would have known about like assistant living and all this shit, I would have done that. But at the time, like now, I would be like, no, fucking man this shit out and go get a fucking job and work your ass off. But at the time, I would have took that because I was still growing into that mindset. But I didn't know, so I just went through it the hard way. And around July 2022, I got evicted. And by the grace of God, I got in a phone call one day from a clinical trial for $10,000, the most money I've ever had made at the time in my life. I took it. It was 30 days. I was like, okay, if I lose weight, I just grind even harder when I come back. I got 10 grand in my pocket, so I did that, man. It was the best experience I had in my life as far as making money. It was so easy. 10 grand came out. And yeah. After that, I was like, okay, I'm never letting anything get in my way as far as going down here. Like I'll sacrifice anything to stay from being broke, to stay from that mindset. Anything I got to do to get away from that. Excuse me if y'all have these glasses on. It's to help block from this bright ass light in my face. But yeah, that's what my mindset was. And it really changed me. It molded me. So ever since then, I just been on my P's and Q's with everything, right? Like you can see, I'm so organized. I'll show y'all here. Like, you know what I'm saying? I'm so organized. This is my business agendas, and that's my life goals. And in front of me, I have a calendar where I'll write down the things that I got to do throughout the month. I own 2 businesses right now that I'm growing. Right now, they're successful as in they're still alive, right? It's been a couple months. So they're doing pretty well for being a couple months. 2 businesses I run. I have this podcast, this YouTube podcast show. that I also run, and I'm getting into boxing because I believe every man should learn how to fight, and I want to be able to fight and hold my own. So when I have to get grit down and protect my family, I can protect my family because that's also an essential thing a man has to do. It's also his priority. It should be his priority, and it's his obligation to just do is protect the people that he loves, and that's what everything. That's what everything is. All this money, muscles, mind is all to protect the things that you love and the people that you love. So it's been about 45 minutes of this story, right? And I say all this because I want you guys to know that this mindset for becoming a man, for being a man, is that no matter what, right? No matter what you want to do, how you feel, how the other person feels, you still do what you have to do to survive and to thrive, right? Protecting your family, all these things. That's what it's all about. Even if you might not have, and see, that was the difference. Even though I didn't have the muscles, when the day I decided to start was the day I became a man. It wasn't. Shout out to Don Zach. I appreciate it. I'm just over here trying to spill some real stuff to these people, trying to change lives. But even though, right, even though I was at that party and smashing bitches and doing all that wild shit, that didn't make me a man. That shit didn't make me a man. It was literally the fact that I've learned to take this mindset and do the things that I didn't feel like doing, right? The things that I don't feel like doing. I don't always feel like getting my ass up and going to the gym every day. I really don't feel like that. Not every day. Now, a lot of days I do, but in the beginning, definitely not. Especially when you're the skinny guy and you're in a room full of buff guys, right? And you see a bad bitch and you want to talk to her, but you're like, damn, I know she's so cold. Like, she's only gonna fuck with these type of guys, right? That type of thinking does not feel good. And yeah, we want to eventually change that, but as a man, you need to fight through that fucking mindset. You need to fight through that mindset because you're the man before you look like the man. And so that's pretty much what this whole show is about. It's just letting people know, letting men know that it isn't, oh, I don't have the muscles like Brad Pitt or whoever the fuck, or I don't have the intelligence of Andrew Tate or all that. I'm not gonna say it doesn't fucking matter, but that doesn't fucking make you. What makes you is if you have the will to do the things that you don't want to do. You know, when you were a kid, and it might be even fucking now for some of you. It might be even fucking now. You don't want to take that trash out that's down to the dumpster, you know, that's 40 feet away when it's a cold, snowing cold outside and shit. You know, you don't want to get up in the morning, brush your teeth, and make your bed. You know, you just want to sit at home, play video games on the weekends when you really could be studying, learning a new skill, right? The things that kids do, right? On the weekend. The kids look forward to the weekend because they get to relax. Men, Like if I can recall my father on the weekends, yeah, he had his time to relax, but he still went around and did shit around the house. Like I can recall actually one of my fondest memories of him is because he wasn't perfect. He had this video game he called it was Red Alert. It was like a Call of Duty at the time though. It was like Renegade or whatever the fuck it was. And he loved that game so much. Even though everybody had the new Call of Duty, he played that old that 2002 Renegade first person shooter. He loved that game. That he would mess up, and on the weekends he would push back some of the things that he was supposed to be doing around the house. But what I realized growing up, at the time I didn't realize it, but when I look back on it, I garnered some respect for this decision that he made one day when he looked around at his family, his 6 kids that he had, and he looked at his video game, and he went downstairs in the basement, and he took it out the fucking computer, the PC he was playing on, and he snapped that bitch in half, and he got his ass back to work on the house that he bought for the family that he loved, the beautiful family that he created. I'm sure my mama gave him some pussy that night. Yeah. That was some man shit. That's some respectable ass shit. I don't always see eye to eye with my dad on a lot of things. A whole lot of shit. But I know at his funeral one day, that's a story that I can tell. And I'm going to tell it with great joy. I'm going to celebrate. I say this now because I was just at my friend's, his father, his pops had passed away. They didn't see eye to eye either. So we relate on that field. But it just kind of, as a man, it kind of gave me a little more heart. It's like, damn, I don't see eye to eye with my dad, but there's still things that he's done in my life that molded me, that changed me, that helped me become a man that I am. Now, he didn't teach me a lot of the things that I preach today, but still, the lessons he's instilled in me still created parts of me that helps, right? Create a foundation for my mental, foundation that helped me actually be more aware and be like, okay, well, this doesn't seem right. Well, let me keep going. Like, that was the main thing he taught me as a man, was to look at a bigger picture. Don't just look at the small shit. Like, oh, the chick, she's pretty. Okay, well, fuck. Well, how's her mental? Does she cook? Does she clean? Does she do this? When you're feeling down, how does she react when you do this? What if you wear this clothes out that you normally don't wear? How is she going to react, You taught me life is chess. It's not like chess. It is chess. It's a mental game, constantly back and forth with everything. It doesn't matter if you gotta fucking get a new job, right? That you don't want to work at Burger King. It's a mental chess game. Okay, I'm only gonna work here for so long, because if you just think, oh, I'm gonna work at Burger King my whole life, no, yeah, you're gonna fucking lose. But if you plan it out like chess, 10 moves ahead, 6 months at Burger King, 8 months at the car dealership, then you can start your business for 2 years and build off that, make $100 million in 10 years, right? That's the chess moves. They say it takes 10,000 hours to learn a new skill. Excuse me, 1,000. 1,000? No, it's 10,000. It's 10,000 hours to learn a new skill, right? They wondered why chess masters were so damn smart. Well, it's not that they're smart, it's that they spent 10,000 hours learning chess, because they put there's a study on this. You can go look this up. They put those same chess masters in front of a different type of test. I can't recall what it was, but it was another test. And they failed just like we would, like the average person. They were average in that area. So it showed that they're a master at chess, right? Because they spent 10,000 hours. So if you spend 10,000 hours into electrician or into plumbing or into whatever skill, speech, if you want to know how to talk to people, speech, right? You'll become a master at that. And that's where your value lies. That's where your value lies. It's where you spend your time. Your time is your most valuable asset. Not your money, not your car, not your chick, not your clothes, not your muscles. All that shit ain't shit without time. Right? Because if somebody gave you $100 million today, but they said you have 24 hours to live, and it was a choice between the 100 million and 24 hours, or you still stay the same but you keep your normal life, what would you choose? I assume with great confidence that most people would choose the normal life because at least they have time to enjoy, right? I'd rather enjoy 100,000 for the rest of my life than 100 million for 24 hours. Those are those hard choices. I'd rather enjoy one solid, good woman than 100 bad bitches with no fucking brain. One solid, cooperative, friendly, fit lady. She doesn't have to be my dime piece. But if she loves the things that I love and she cares about what I care about and we come to unity, that'd be amazing. Right? That's more valuable to me. The time we spend is more valuable to me than the quantity of vagina I get. I believe every man should have the perspicacity to see exactly what is worth it for you, right? What would you like to do in your time to make it worth it? You have to really be self-aware and aware of your environment to see, okay, what do I really care about? I know I like playing video games, but I can't make money off of this right now. So what is something I can do in between that time, right? I'm not saying you have to put the video games down forever and never pick it back up, right? You don't have to be like my dad and snap the game because right now he plays video games. He still plays them, right? Over 60 years old, but he doesn't let it consume him to where it's hindering his progress, his family from thriving. And so it does take a level of perspicacity to see that, right? But you have to build towards that. There's a reason why those things hold so much value because it's a pleasure, right? We take these certain pleasures for granted, right? Just like how we take sugar for granted. Sugar, we're not supposed to have sugar every fucking day. It's killing your body. As a man, that's messing up your body, which in turn will mess up your mind because sugar will hype your body up and your mind doesn't know how to control your body on so much sugar. That's why if you overdose on caffeine and all that bullshit, you'll die. It's because your body doesn't know how to function on that high level. I mean, your mind doesn't know how to control that functioning of a high level, right? And you can see that because, and we know that because you have certain people, fat people, right? They tolerate a higher dosage compared to somebody like me who can't tolerate. I probably tolerate 2 cans of Monster, right? All that sugar, all that caffeine. So you have to have a level of perspicacity to be aware of yourself, to be aware what you can handle and what you can't. Some people might be able to handle having 10 women in their rotation, depending on how their life's built and how their mindset is. Some people can't. Some people 2 women will mess you up. Some people 1 woman, unfortunately. But it's how you balance that. You might not be able to balance your women like Future balances his woman or Drake balances his women, right? But that's the tough part because, of course, everybody would want that. Everybody wants the women to just call them when you're ready and y'all can have sex when you're ready and all this. Right? Just like I'm saying. How to become a man. You got to do the things that you don't like to do, which is balancing your women, aka balancing your time. So it's been an hour. I don't necessarily want this YouTube video to go on too long, but I do appreciate the sub. Shout out to Don Zach 05. Matter of fact, shouting him out. Thank you. I appreciate you following the movement, how men become men. And I want to thank everybody else who will be watching this after and watching this on YouTube. I will be making the social media here for this podcast here soon, very soon, and I'll post it in the links. But for right now, you can subscribe to my YouTube, RSZN Lifestyle. That's RSZN Lifestyle. I appreciate you guys. And to YouTubers, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new. On the road to 300. I appreciate you guys' time. Thank you.